Welcome to Homeowners How to Apply Chemical Controls for Emerald Ash Borer. My name is Martha Smith and I am a horticulture educator serving Henry, Mercer, Rock Island, and Stark counties in northwestern Illinois. Emerald ash borer has been found in 3 of those 4 counties, so I have prepared 3 voiceover PowerPoint presentations to help you identify emerald ash borer, to identify true ash trees, that is, members of the Fraxinus genus, and how to apply homeowner over-the-counter, so to speak, insecticide controls. If you have further questions, you can contact me at the email listed or contact our office at area code 309-756-9978, and either myself or a trained Master Gardener volunteer can assist you. You can also visit our website, and we have an Ask a Master Gardener link. The information presented in this program is based on 2014 Illinois pesticide recommendations for homeowners. If you live outside of Illinois, you need to contact your local extension service for insecticides that are labeled for use in your state. Also, regulations change, so always read the label for the product you are using. Emerald ash borer, or EAB, is a destructive pest of true ash trees, that is, members of the Fraxinus genus. Before grabbing the insecticide, consider the following points. Only true ash trees are attacked by EAB. You do not need to treat maples, oaks, lindens, and any other type of tree for emerald ash borer. Ask yourself, has emerald ash borer been found within 15 miles of your tree? Do you live in the quarantine zone? How much value do you give to every ash tree on your property? Based on the value given, which is the better solution, treatment or removal of the tree? Let's go into more detail. Based on current research, treatments are suggested only for ash trees located within 15 miles of a confirmed EAB site, or if the trees are located within the quarantine zone. Here is the most recent Illinois Department of Agriculture Illinois State Quarantine Boundary Map. It is dated November 1st, 2013. Do you live within the red quarantine boundary? My unit is Henry, Mercer, Rock Island, and Stark counties, and all 4 are in the quarantine zone. Emerald ash borer has not been found in Mercer, but being in such close approximation to counties that do have EAB, it is included. This is the same for Warren and Henderson. EAB has not been found there, but neighboring counties do have it, and therefore they are in the zone. Not every ash tree should be treated. Evaluate each ash tree on your property. Insecticide treatments do not eradicate emerald ash borer. They protect the tree from devastating infestations. You may need to treat your tree every year for at least 20 years or perhaps for the life of that tree. As nearby untreated trees die, the number of emerald ash borers drops because they do not feed on any other tree. Eventually, there are too few beetles to find each other to mate, and the local EAB population dies out. In other areas of the Midwest, this seems to be occurring at least 20 years after emerald ash borer first entered the area. As your tree gets larger, the costs of insecticide control increases. An 8-inch tree is less expensive to treat than a 24-inch tree. So that young tree may look good now, but do you want to pay for annual treatments for the unforeseen future that will only increase as the tree grows? The cost of removing that 8-inch tree is also less than the cost to remove a 24-inch tree years later. Is the tree in poor health, misshapen, or planted in a bad location? These things won't get any better, so why treat? A row of autumn purple ash is pictured here. Overall, they possess a nice shape and a great fall color, but they are planted directly under streetlights. These trees will eventually grow taller and will have to be severely pruned to ensure safe street and sidewalk illumination. For a municipality, it is cheaper to remove them at this size than 5 years from now. A well-placed, healthy ash tree is the prime candidate for treatment. This tree is in a good location in the landscape. It's not planted under overhead power lines, it's not too close to the home, and it provides shade in the summer. Here, 2 ash trees have been strategically placed to provide summer shade to the patio and to the porch of this home. In the winter, when the leaves have dropped, the sunlight can penetrate through and will warm the porch area and the back of the home. Losing these 2 trees is losing years of planned growth to get to this size for the homeowners to reap the benefits of reduced energy costs both in summer and in winter. So, consider your trees and what value do you give them? Remember, not every ash tree should be treated. Evaluate all the ash trees on your property and decide to treat or to remove. What option do homeowners have when dealing with emerald ash borer? EAB attacks and kills ash trees. That's a fact. Remove the trees and you don't have to consider chemical applications. If you choose to treat, the do-it-yourself options are both soil drenches. You can mix a liquid concentrate and pour this around the base of the ash tree, or you can choose a granule product, apply this around the base of the ash tree, and water it in. Doesn't matter which you choose. You'll have to apply it once a year for at least 20 years. Illinois licensed pesticide applicators certified under the ornamentals category have access to products not available to homeowners for EAB control. These licensed applicators have equipment to directly inject insecticides into the tree, minimizing environmental exposure, lessening the risk of off-target movement of a pesticide. Very large ash trees should be treated by a professional. Licensed professionals also have access to insecticides that research has shown can be applied every 2 years rather than every year. Only treat ash trees for emerald ash borer. EAB will not attack your maple out front or your honey locust along the street. If you aren't sure, please visit our YouTube site where you found this video, which is www.web.extension.illinois.edu/HMRS/EAB and click on Identifying Ash Trees. The homeowner option is an annual soil drench. Active ingredients labeled for use in Illinois are imidacloprid and dinotefuran. On the front of the label, look for the active ingredient statement. There are many products with trade names. Don't go by these since they can change over time. Always look at the active ingredient statement for the common or chemical name when choosing a product. To ensure the insecticide is in the leaves by the time the emerald ash borer adults emerge, products are most effective when applied mid-April through the end of June in Illinois. This is the time of year when active water uptake within the tree is greatest. The chemical will be carried along with the water throughout the tree, providing emerald ash borer protection from inside the tree. These products are called systemic insecticides. How much do you need to use? Well, you have to measure the tree you're planning to treat. On a single trunk ash tree, you measure the circumference at dBH. dBH stands for diameter at breast height. This is an old nursery term and stands for 4.5 feet above ground. You will need to measure the circumference of the ash tree at 4.5 feet or 54 inches above the ground. If the tree has 2 or more trunks, read and follow measuring instructions on the label of the product you have selected to use. Using a flexible measuring tape, measure the distance around the trunk in inches. This ash tree has a 40-inch circumference, 4.5 feet above the ground. Reading the label of the product you have selected, you will be instructed as to how much product you will need. The majority of general use liquid concentrate homeowner products have 1.47% imidacloprid as the active ingredient. You are instructed to use 1 ounce per inch. For this tree, you will need 40 ounces of 1.47% imidacloprid per 1 gallon of water. Read the label. If the DBH measurement is greater than 50 inches, you may be directed to mix with 2 gallons of water before applying. When working with liquid concentrates, always protect yourself and wear chemical-resistant gloves, hat, shoes and socks, long-sleeved shirt and pants. There are granule products available. Again, refer to the label for directions. The label used for this example had 1.1% imidacloprid as the active ingredient. You apply a 1/4 cup of granules per inch. You would need to measure out 10 cups of 1.1% imidacloprid granules. When working with granules, always protect yourself. Avoid fumes and dust when measuring out the granules. Ash trees measuring greater than 48 inches at DBH, that is 4.5 feet above ground level, should be professionally treated for best control and to avoid unintended environmental impacts. Always read the label. There are different strengths or percentage of active ingredients in products. If you were using the 2.94% imidacloprid product, you would need to apply only a 1/2 ounce per inch of circumference compared to 40 ounces of the 1.47% strength. So, for our 40-inch tree, you would only need 20 ounces of the higher percentage product. And there are stronger products out there. Read the label for the product you select. The label is the law. One important note, you can only apply imidacloprid 1 time in a 12-month period. Also, certain products have a maximum amount of active ingredient you can apply to the same area within a 12-month period. If you have a very large tree and are trying to do it yourself, you could be exceeding the maximum annual amount and therefore breaking the law. There are numerous liquid concentrate brand names out there that contain imidacloprid. If using the 21.4% Optrol product, the label has specific instructions for figuring out how much product to add based on the tree DBH. Also, with this product you are instructed to add the recommended amount to no less than 10 gallons of water and uniformly apply this mixture over 1,000 square feet as a drench around the base of the tree directed to the root zone. I know I sound like a broken record, remember those? But read the label. I always label the container I use for mixing any type of pesticide. That way I avoid any possible cross-contamination between insecticides, fungicides, and herbicides. Here I am using an empty water jug that I have labeled. Fill it halfway with water. Add the recommended amount of insecticide. Fill up the rest of the container with water. Put the cap back on tightly and mix well. You can use a watering can. Again, fill halfway and add your measured amount of insecticide. Fill remainder with water. Triple rinse out that watering can when done to avoid any cross-contamination. Remember to protect yourself when handling liquid concentrates. Wear chemical-resistant gloves, a hat, shoes and socks, long-sleeve shirt, and pants. With our sample 40-inch circumference tree, measure out the 40 ounces of 1.47% imidacloprid first and add to an empty container. Then add water. You want to make sure you have enough space in the container for water. Read the label for larger trees. You may be instructed to mix the chemical in a larger volume of water. Soil should be moist. Frozen or saturated soil will not allow the water to percolate through and may run off target. Excessively dry soil may allow the water to pass too quickly through the root zone without being absorbed. Imidacloprid clings to organic matter such as mulch, fallen leaves, dead plant material, and grass. Rake away to expose bare soil. Remove sod to expose bare soil. Apply liquid mixture around the base of the tree, about 12 to 15 inches from the trunk. Allow the material to completely be absorbed. Treated soil should no longer have a saturated look. Cover with mulch. Typically, granules need to be watered in after application. Apply to moist soil only. Rake away organic material or remove grass. Apply around base of tree within 12 to 15 inches of the trunk. Water after application with enough water to dissolve granules and move product into the root zone, but not so much water or too quickly so that the product moves away from the base of the trunk. Undissolved granules can easily move off target, especially if applied to a tree on a slope. After all granules have dissolved, cover with mulch. Granule products contain either imidacloprid or dinotefuran. Read and follow all label instructions. Soil-applied products have the potential to move off target if not applied responsibly. Protecting our surface water and groundwater from contamination is extremely important. Over-application can lead to excess leaching through the soil and into our groundwater. Granules can move off target and dissolve where they are not intended to be, such as near a lake or stream. Do not use within 25 feet of water bodies such as streams, lakes, ponds, wetlands, creeks, or rivers. Do not use within 25 feet of conduits to water supplies, such as street curbs, storm drains, sumps, or wellheads. Always read the label for potential environmental hazards and legal setback regulations. This information bears repeating. Do not apply soil products when heavy rainfall is expected within 24 hours of planned treatment. Too much water can cause the product to move completely through the root zone before the tree can take it in and can leach into groundwater supplies. Do not apply to soils when conditions will not allow penetration into root zone. Saturated or waterlogged soil, frozen soil, or excessively dry soil will interfere with proper root uptake and can lead to off-target movement of the insecticide. So, in review, ask yourself, considering your ash tree or trees, is treatment or removal the better option? If the tree or trees have a value, select your product and read the label. Remember, this value could be appearance, location, energy conservation from summer shade and winter solar energy, or simply sentimental. Measure your ash tree to determine the annual amount to treat that particular tree with. Remember, you can only make one application of imidacloprid in a 12-month period. Spring is the recommended time of year for treatment. Always use responsibly and consider the environmental impacts. If the tree is over 48 inches in circumference at DBH, seek professional assistance for best control and to avoid unintended environmental impacts. The Illinois Department of Agriculture has a great emerald ash borer site. Here is their page for treatment options. You can download or print documents to help you with your EAB control decisions. Their website is www.illinoiseab.com. I hope you found this program helpful. You'll also find quick lessons on how to ID an ash tree and emerald ash borer identification on our website at web.extension.illinois.edu/HMRS/EAB/. Thank you for taking the time to learn about homeowner emerald ash borer control. This has been Martha Smith, Horticulture Educator, University of Illinois Extension.